So, while I was out being a drunken lush, you were seducing the luscious Linnea?
Nothing happened.
Oh, don't you dare insult my intelligence. Don't you dare.
Joe Castleman is about to win a Nobel Prize for his contribution to writing. He wrote several books, including The Walnut. His wife Joan, played by Glenn Close, is excited for her husband. Both of them go to Stockholm, where he's going to accept the award, but while there, he gives his wife too much credit, and she feels like, you're boasting it a little bit, aren't you? She is really concerned about him, but he doesn't really seem to notice, but he is, at heart, a good person. The weird thing about this movie is that I really don't want to spoil anything because this is a movie you definitely need to see. There's also an author named Nathaniel who wants to write a book about him, but he says no, even though he has the money already in place to actually write the book. And of course he already has a source, so there's that. Nathaniel is an okay character. At the very least, he's not a comic relief character or anything like that. He's just there just to tell his story, and Joe doesn't want any part in it. It's fine. It's serviceable. But oh yeah, maybe I should talk about Gwen Close's character. She's independent and knows when she doesn't take any crap from anyone, especially her husband. You may ask the question whether or not she actually read her husband's books. There's a great scene in a cafe where Nathaniel actually points this out. I mean, after all, she did marry him. She was probably impressed by his writing, and thus she was so entranced by his writing that she decided to marry him. But I'm led to believe that she could have at some point, or at least attempted to. That's what you would be thinking throughout the first act, but then another twist comes in. There's also a subplot in this movie where Nathaniel makes the accusation that she was the supposed ghostwriter of his books. In other words, he thinks that he didn't write his own work. Whether or not he truly wrote his works or his wife ghost wrote it for him is entirely up to interpretation. You don't really find out until the very end of the movie. I have my own suspicion, but I'm gonna let you watch the movie and find out for yourself. We actually have flashbacks of how the two of them met. In 1953, Joan herself was a struggling writer who Joe, a professor at the time, asked her to babysit, and she fell in love with him ever since. In the present, we also have her son, who's new to writing, but has some resistance to his father. Basically, his dad says, oh, you need to fix this, you need to tweak that, it's a good start, and yet he doesn't want to take any criticism from his famous dad, or rather infamous dad, as you'll see later on in the movie. The cast is really good. This is probably the best acting that Glenn Close has done. I know everyone says that, and everybody's like, oh, didn't she do well in Albert Nobbs or especially Fatal Attraction? Yes, I think as an actress, I think she pulls it off well in this one. Oh, and you also have Jonathan Pryor as Joe Castleman, who actually does a good job too. So neither of the main cast members are wasted. In fact, they're actually fully used to the best of their abilities. Both characters have equal screen time, but both are driving forces to the plot. They both drive the movie, and it's well casted. Also, I should point out that during one of the flashback scenes, Elizabeth McGovern from Downton Abbey plays a writer with a New England accent. That's right, Cora Crawley from Downton Abbey is in this movie. I just had to point that out. The guy who plays Nathaniel does an okay job. I think if anything, his acting isn't great, but I think as far as his character is concerned, his character isn't wasted either. The writing in this movie was pretty spot on. There are actually several scenes in this movie where I actually legitimately wanted to know where Joe and Joan's relationship was gonna go. Sometimes they bicker, sometimes they embrace one another. They are, after all, a very strange couple. But you actually do feel for them, one who's about to win a great honor in his life, and the other who's just sitting back and watching everything happen and not saying a word. And now, here she is at a crucial moment in her life where she has to either make a stand to say, I can't do this anymore, or tell the truth. It's one of those type of relationships, and it's done very well. Overall, there isn't a whole lot to say because I don't want to give anything away. I mean, I would say more, don't get me wrong, I would love to go on, but In this case, I don't want to spoil it because, well, for one thing, it's a really excellent film. You should really check it out. Even if you aren't the biggest fan of dramas, you can at the very least watch The Wife. You can actually have a good time with a decent story and memorable characters. But this is one of those stories where it has many twists and turns, but I can't reveal all of it. I just can't. I can't reveal it in under 10 minutes. This is a movie you're gonna have to go in the theater on your own and piece everything together. It's kind of like that movie Searching. The problem with that movie was that it wasn't that the twists and turns were bad, it was that there was too many of them. And thus you get lost and you have absolutely no idea what's the truth and what's just speculation. This, you at very least know what you're going to get yourself into, but you don't know what you're going to get coming out. And that's exactly how I felt watching this movie. I knew kind of a little bit of what was going to happen, but when I walked out of the theater, I was intrigued. This is a really good drama, you should watch it, and there's nothing more for me to say. And by the way, did you know that this movie was made last year? Yeah, it's finally getting a theatrical release now. Good job. 4.5 out of 5.